Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Hey everyone, welcome to Late Night with Cap. It's good to see you. It's Wednesday night, and that means we're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to talk about some bad graphic design. We have an interesting story about Teddy Roosevelt's trip down the Amazon River, and I have a guest to share that all with. So before I introduce him, though, it's been a while. I've been trying to get this man on the show for, I'm going to say, before Halloween. It seems every time I try to get him on the show, either something happens with me or him. So far, we're here. We're trying not to get up. We're not trying not to touch anything. Make sure everything goes smoothly. So it's great that he's here right now. But before we get started, though, a couple of announcements again. Crazy enough, last time I checked, I think I was 5 away from 600. 600 subs. Really? So I guess everyone likes these mystery things, and they're eating it up. So I appreciate all the new subs. I appreciate all the new viewers coming in and watching those shorts and those little weird news videos. I think that's fantastic, and hopefully some of you are here tonight. And if you just showed up and you are new and you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and do that. All right, so let's go ahead and bring on the guest that I've been waiting for months to show up on this show and have a good time. He is a big fan of Captain America, just like me. So here he is, Roman of the Empire. What's up, man?
Hey, good evening. I'm so happy to be here. Yeah, we were talking a little bit in the green room before the show. It's like every time JT would ask me to come on, something horrible would go on in my life. The car explodes. There's a small fire somewhere. It's like this series, a cavalcade of terrible events. So I was bracing myself all week. I'm just waiting for something bad to happen, but nothing bad happened this week. No, it could still, everything behind me could get ablaze. We don't know what could happen. Anything could happen. So it's exciting to be here. Thank you for having me on, though. I am happy.
Yeah, I'm excited. This should be fun. I've got some fun stuff for you. Archie the Icky came in and he said, I came for all you can eat breadsticks from Olive Garden.
We know where this goes. We know where this goes.
Jacob Iron says, ahoy, Roman. We've got Miss Sassy Sasquatch here saying she loves you, buddy. Good people showing up so far, and it's good to see everyone. And she does want to talk Olive Garden, so she's unsubbing. Don't worry, I have a surprise for everyone. Don't worry. So I told everybody before you came on that you are a big fan of Captain America, just like me. You said you have quite a bit of figurines, and I see you have a couple shields back there.
I do. And so it's got an interesting story. The one like immediate above my noggin there looks like a halo. Back in my Navy days, my son was going to be Captain America for Halloween one year, and the guys no. There's no shield size contest, Archie. So my guys in the corrosion shop, we were like talking about it, and they made this for my son. It's made out of metal, and it's reflective. It's pretty cool. So yeah, my guys were awesome. And then I think the one that I think that's, if not the same, it's very similar to the one that you picked up.
Yeah, actually, R2 gifted that to me.
Beautiful item.
Yeah, it's very cool. I was surprised how big it was.
Yeah, it's like real size. The joke just hangs in the air, just floating there. I was surprised at how big it was.
Yeah, we tend to have those little puns here and there, but when I got it though, like I said, I was surprised how big it was. But then it was neat because it had the actual leather straps behind, and I thought that was really cool. And then R2's coming to visit me in Texas in a few months. So
sweet.
We may do a special video for you all, so with me and the shield. But yeah, I was that close. Yep. That's what she said. Now, why are you a big fan? Because you also said that you did something else special with Captain America. That's
Yes.
personal for you. Why are you such a big fan of Captain America?
It's funny. I mean, this has been like my primary superhero
Yeah.
since
Mhm.
I was a little kid. Remember, I'm ancient. I'm an older feller, as they say. So back in the 70s, this I had the Mego figure, the doll. It was a doll back then. They weren't action figures. Difference is you can take the clothes off of the doll. That's the primary thing. So if you're ever curious why, and back when comic books cost a quarter, I would get one like every week for whatever the outing was, and that was
Yeah.
the one and they don't mean the same thing. You just see you like the art and the wow and the bang and the fighting and all stuff. You don't really follow stories when you're a little kid, um, but I just fell in love with the character, and then getting older. It was one of those things they were always coming out with new Batman, Superman, whatever. You could never find Captain America stuff. So it became like this weird, unobtainium. You could never find good Captain America stuff. And then in the 90s, they started churning it out. The
Mhm.
better action figures. And then when the Ultimates came out, I don't know if you read that book. Um, it's that kind of newer take,
Yeah. Yeah. I've
slightly
seen them.
off take on the Avengers. I just fell in love with it all over again. I loved that version of Cap. And so I would always have somewhere on my desk some kind of Captain America
Yeah.
stuff. And yeah, so I've been a collector of the Captain America stuff. And when I retired from the Navy, this is just one of the things you do. You make a coin. It's not inexpensive, by the way, but mine was modeled after the Captain America shield, and in the middle, instead of the star, it had my Master Chief anchor, and it was an 800
Well,
pressing.
that's pretty cool. And thanks for your service, by the way. And that's a cool story about how you liked Captain America. I was similar. I was a big fan of Batman when I was a kid, but till I got older and I started reading and like understanding like what Cap kind of meant. He kind of linked more to me as my personality. So he's always willing to kind of help the little guy or just try to be there when you kind of need him. And he makes his mistakes, and I have done that too. But he always kind of shined on, and he also loves his country, and he'll do
Yes,
anything for it. And one thing I got super excited about was when he actually got his movies, and they were actually good,
I
and
know.
that made me super excited. So you're going to be a fan of this then, because everyone who gets a first time on the show gets a nice little captain.
I've seen the Cap dance. It's beautiful. It
Yeah,
is. It's lovely.
and you play the guitar, so you will also like this one. There you go.
It's excellent. There's nothing not to love about that.
R2 hates them for some reason. Let's see. Unfortunately, also in the 90s, there was. It wasn't that great, but
Yes,
it was fun to
yes.
watch though. You can't hate him on it.
That
At
one's
least he got one.
weird. He's got that suit that's like it's like a latex all over suit.
Hmm.
It's a bizarre deal. I've seen the movie.
Well,
I think it's Italian. A lot of it's Italian.
it
I know if
is.
it was Italian
Yeah.
made, but it's weird. It's just a
It's a
weird.
very
It's you
weird,
can
but
find it on
it's
YouTube.
fun.
Yeah.
You should check it out. Now, there's one thing everybody's talking about Olive Garden. And I've always memed you with the Olive Garden because
Yes.
you're Italian, and for us, for whatever reason, you don't like Olive Garden. But I reached out to Olive Garden, and they
Oh
did
God.
something very special for you.
my God. I'd forgotten about that Colonel Sanders one. Oh my God. Oh, it's so horrible, but so funny at the same time. See, for other people, it's just flat out hilarious. I'm the receiving end of it. It's a little different, but and the Jedi one too. I forgot about that one as well. Oh,
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Glad you appreciate that. I'm glad you were able to laugh
My
at
God,
it.
that was hilarious, dude.
And to be honest, I don't
Oh.
know when that started. It just did.
Well, I think it was. I asked Joker about it. I'm like, did I say something to him? Because we met at his well, we met at the meetup in Vegas, but we
Mhm.
ended up at Joker's place that later that night. And I asked him, did I have a conversation with JT about this? He's like, dude, you ate Olive Garden. You know?
That was a good
Yes.
Joker impression. I got banned from Olive Garden, Jacob says, for eating too many breadsticks. How many did you eat? All of them.
Oh, I died a little bit inside because of that, Jacob. Just so you know, that was not good.
He probably made that on the fly. Yeah, in memorandum, Roman and the breadsticks. Yeah.
Save that. Send it to my wife when I die next week.
I will send it to you. You can have fun with that.
God, that's so
if you
good.
want to play it on your show, you can. But yeah, Olive Garden decided of all the support
Olive
you
Garden.
provide for them, they wanted to do that for you. Now, all right. So the other thing we do on this show is I'm starting it. You're the third guest to get this, but it's been going well, pretty good, pretty
All
well
right, I'm
so far.
bracing myself. I think I
And
know
it's called rapid fire questions with Cap. So get ready. Here we go. All right, I'm going to ask you 5 questions. You're going to answer them. You can explain them if you want, or you can answer them quickly.
All right.
No matter to me. Here's number 1. What is your favorite body part?
Eyes.
Okay.
Window to the soul. You can tell a lot about a person from their eyes. And if you lose one, it's a big deal. You lose a finger, whatever. You only got 2 of those though.
Okay. All right. If you could be transformed into one animal, which one would you choose?
AJ. No, I'm kidding. I joke. We all love AJ. No. I think maybe a hawk. One, they're kind of apex for their species, and the idea of flying has a great appeal to me. And their diet is mostly crap. I eat crap too, so it all works out. It's a very similar thing, except they get to fly, and I've maybe a better haircut.
Okay. Pop says you lose a finger, you can still be James Dunaham.
True. Yep, 9
I have
fingers.
11
They hit it
fingers.
most of the time.
You have 11 fingers?
Why? R2, what kind of weird freak are you, man?
I've met him in person. I don't think he has 11 fingers. I think he's lying.
Maybe he just didn't notice. Maybe he didn't want to see it. Maybe he's like AI. He's like, that doesn't look right, but I can't quite pin what it is.
All right, here's number 3. Do you kill bugs you find inside, or you take them outside?
The short answer is it depends. So, if it's a spider, and you all may remember the spider incident from a couple months back here in the studio, things didn't go well. Spiders, I don't like them. They're scary and they want to eat you. Now, bees, on the other hand, every now and then we'll get a bee in a house. I will trap the bee and free the bee.
Oh, he said it was a joke that went over our heads.
I got nothing. If the joke is too clever, R2, it's not funny. I can't help you here. I can't help you. I don't know what it means.
Sydney Wicks, a pro NBA player, had extra knuckles, large fingers. Wow.
That sounds like a Mike Myers joke. Knuckles, long fingers.
Yeah. I have to look that up. Not a finger.
Not a finger. Not a finger.
All right. Okay, here you go. Here's the next one. How do you want your loved ones to remember you? This is a kind of a deep question.
So I actually wanted my daughter to have me encased in amber and put me in the living room holding a drink. I thought that would be funny. No one else thought that shit was funny though. So
That'd be a
Which is
little
too
weird.
bad. Which is too bad. How do I want them to remember? As a good father, a good husband. That's all you can really hope for in the end.
Yeah.
I hope my Navy kids remember me as a good leader, a good Master Chief.
Okay, very cool.
Not just the old weird guy, which is what almost everybody I mentioned will remember me as. So it is what it is.
How many years were you in the Navy?
30 years, 28 days.
Oh wow. That's a good time in the Navy. He said he was trying to be filthy. R2. So.
That's not a finger. That's not a finger. It's not a finger.
What about jumping spiders, Roman? They're nice.
No spiders are nice. There is no such thing, Jacob. So here in Southern California, we do get a wide variety of arachnid. We
get a lot out here in Texas.
Well, no, you guys also have big, but we get tarantulas at this end of the state as well. And the brown recluses, they're and these orb spiders. I don't know where they came from. They're like snails with legs, though. They're enormous. They're horrible. I hate
the
them.
orb spiders are they're from Texas. We have them.
Well, why are they here? Did they migrate? Are they migrants? Are they migrant spiders?
Lady Marie agrees with you on the spiders.
On the spider thing, or that's not a finger for R2. There are a couple things floating around, Lady Marine. So I don't.
There is actually. Okay, here's the fifth and the final question. So far, I've gotten 2 answers on the no here. I'm guessing you're gonna say no. Pineapple on pizza.
Actually, yes.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I'm going against the grain.
You're my first yes.
I know. I mind it. I don't. Now, granted, it can't just be like any pizza. It works well with ham, or it works nicely with jalapenos. That way you get a spicy and a sweet.
So, I've never tried it with jalapenos.
My Sicilian card may have been revoked for this answer, but I'm just telling you.
Lady Marine says yes as well.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies. That's 2 things we agree on. Either R2, it's not a finger, the spider issue, and now this. That's a lot. That's a lot for me.
It is a lot. Okay, there you go. I thought wrong. So now it's up to 2-1. No is in the lead on pineapple on pizza. So
how dare you? I know, Jacob. I know.
Yeah, everybody's gonna hate you now.
How dare you?
I like it, to be honest. I like it too. So, whatever.
I know it's not a popular thing. I understand. Well, also, it's like how not everybody likes cilantro. To my son hates cilantro. We live in Southern California. We eat a lot of Mexican food.
Yeah,
there's a lot of cilantro floating around.
Cilantro's in everything.
Just despises it. So
why.
it's probably a palate thing. A lot of people just get skeeved out by it too. They're like, why? Fish tacos though. Fish tacos aren't a thing everywhere in Southern California. Though they are a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So people, it's fish taco. What's that about? Well, it's a regional food. It is what it is.
They got some fish tacos out here in Texas.
I hear people creeping around out here in the studio of the Empire. I don't
know
what it is. It's not a spider. It opened a door. If it's a spider, I have a bigger problem.
Okay, you can do this too. Yeah. And let them run away.
True.
Alrighty. Another big thing we do on the show is we review some bad graphic design, and I've got some fun ones for you.
Yes.
So hang tight and get ready for this one, because I'm sure you'll laugh at a few of them. Okay, you've probably seen this around. Everyone's seen it, so I could not show it on the show. So you probably know this one. I'm sure you're going to go see the second movie, Dune. Are you going to get the pop?
Oh, yes. Yes. Wow. There was, I'm not even sure what they were doing here. I mean, I know what they wanted to do, but golly, as soon as they brought the model in, the mock-up, hey, look what we made for your movie. And no one in the room wanted to say it. It's probably what happened. There's a couple ways this thing can go. None of them are good.
It's very
Pee Wee
Herman.
At your local shop.
Yeah, I didn't tell my wife what this was, and I just showed her a picture of the top version real quick. I didn't tell her it's a popcorn bucket, and I didn't even explain it. And she goes, "Why are you showing me a picture of a sphincter?"
There you go. And I also don't understand. Did you just stick your hand in the sphincter and pull the corn out?
Yep.
That's like something that would happen at your doctor's office. The guy is sitting next to you. I just fell on the corn. I don't know how it ended up there.
Oh my God, that is funny.
No one wants to put your hand in the sphincter to get the corn.
I've said it before, but every design team needs a half-drunk college bro that can show their ideas to. Yes, that is actually true.
100%.
It could be the other thing. Yeah, it could be. This will scare you young boys away from sex forever.
That's true. That's yes. You see, there was a movie called Teeth. I don't know if you ever saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it, but I know of it. Yes.
Yeah, it's the JJ's got the fangs, and that's it's
well, it's funny too. You have a dog. They make things that clean out your dog's feet, and you stick their foot in it. Looks like this. So.
Oh, really? No, I did not know. You know, if just looking at it from the side, if they got rid of that middle section, it's fine. It's very passable. It's that middle section is a lot of problems for.
Why didn't they just, I don't know, make it look like it was going through the top?
And also from the sides, I mean, it's supposed to be a worm. I'm guessing it's supposed to be.
It is. It's a worm.
It's not whatever I think it is. But that looks like a building.
Well, I'm excited for the second movie. I'm not excited for the popcorn bucket.
No.
All right. So next one is also movie related. It has another sequel. Well, a fourth movie coming out. I guess it's a sequel to one of the sequels. You can wear these to that movie.
Oh no, that's not good. That's bad placement. Oh my God. Hey, here's what we're gonna do. So Bob, you decided to go with the busted makes me feel good right over the junk. You didn't see an issue there. What's the problem?
Yeah, I was gonna buy one of these for R2, but he told me not to.
Oh, no, because you can't see the problem. I don't know what's going on in your life. You're looking, it's like, oh, it's fine. What? It's funny. It's funny.
Okay. Last time I show you the underwear I got for Christmas. Yeah, I saw that was pretty funny. Again, I don't know who made this, but who would even wear it? I guess some people would wear this. So yeah, don't cross the streams. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, true. Also true. Something bad will happen. Yeah.
Yeah, really, really bad. Yeah, so busted makes me feel good. And they even said this in the movie, the new trailer.
It clearly does.
The new trailer. Some people though
actually think the movie looks interesting.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's good. The trailers they did a good job with the trailer. So the trailer did what it was supposed to do. It's got me interested in the movie, and the movie doesn't look terrible. So that's all I'm really looking for.
That's how the other one was. The other
I enjoyed Afterlife. I thought it was a good movie.
It was a good movie. All right. So this is another movie related thing that you can do for birthdays. So if your birthday's coming up, most people get cakes for their birthday. This one decided to choose Darth Vader.
Oh boy. Spacing is so important. I'm looking, I'm like, oh no. And maybe they probably, and they do. I mean, that's how you get baby rebels. But boy.
Happy birthdays, rebels.
Right, yeah. It wasn't a kids' party. Let's just it's because everybody's just looking at the cake going, oh man. We're lucky he's 3. Otherwise,
someone did wrong spacing there.
It's all spacing. Spacing's important, folks. That's
it is. Spacing is very important.
Actually, no, it's not even a spacing because it's a capital C and a small. They just totally it's
They did this on purpose.
Someone at the cake place was being funny.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow.
Maybe maybe they were rude. Maybe the client was rude to them.
Well, I'll show them.
Yeah, maybe that's what happened.
Yes, over here. That'll get them. Little
Well,
Johnny won't be so happy with this.
Well, we did talk about pineapple on pizza. Are you a fan of the pizza that you can eat from the back?
There has to be a better way, people. There has to be a better way. No one is in these meetings. There's no, and that's just all it is. Eat it from the back. and that's your catchphrase. The meeting is going to be short, and you're going to be thrown from the room. Is that that thing with the boss throwing the guy out the window? That's how this happens.
Yeah,
that's how it happens. Because the after meeting, because there's another meeting that happened. How's the catchphrase going? Well, sir, there's a bit of a problem. There's an association with the phrasing.
Oh, this is Jacob says, use the force. It makes the rebels. Never mind. Always love the jokes.
If the Sith are using their power to do that, I don't know. It would have been a good advantage on the battlefield. They're all occupied. That's the time to take advantage of the situation.
So the common theme of all those bad designs was review your design with people.
Yeah,
especially people that are like us.
You need someone with a sense of humor in the room, because if you're all like a bunch of weird, just kind of straight laced people, and these things have no the double entendre kind of thing going for you, then I don't know what's. First of all, you're probably not a lot of fun at parties, but you got to have that one guy in there. The drunk college friend, but just anybody with a sense of humor that can poke fun at your stuff.
And Beer says, pair that pizza with a tossed salad. Yeah. Yep.
Well, I mean, the pizza, just the saying alone, is pretty much that is the definition, I believe, the prison term.
I love it. But yeah, I thought those were funny. I know you're a big fan of sci-fi and movies and things like that, so I wanted to kind of theme it for you there.
Poor Vader, what? That's not what I had in mind. Okay.
Oh, those are great. And I never run out of these issues. They always
apparently
show up every time. So anyways, we do have a big a main topic tonight. And this one I'm excited about talking with you.
Yeah, this was great.
And we're going to share this part of the section of the show will be shared out as a separate video as well. So if you're watching this, you can just watch the other video as well. It's called Roosevelt's Amazon Expedition, His Darkest Journey. So this is, we all know Teddy Roosevelt, right? You're pretty well known of this man. He was kind of a burly, get it done.
Yep.
I don't care what you say type of politician, man. He's done a lot of great things. He did a lot of great things for our country. I think so. And
I agree. I'm a big Teddy Roosevelt fan. The national parks were such a I mean, it was a treasure he wanted to maintain. And so that was such a good thing to do. And also, like Roosevelt, everybody thinks of him as the big burly guy, but he wasn't. As a kid, he was very weak.
Mm-hmm.
He had to become the man that he became. You want to talk about a self-made man.
And they really don't make presidents. They don't really make presidents like this anymore. And we'll get into why, because this journey, his last journey, was pretty remarkable. We'll kind of summarize through it. So basically, this expedition nearly killed him. This was after his disappointing loss in the 1912 presidential election. He was trying to run for his third term, which is not possible today. It was possible back then.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, right. So he was a little bummed about that, and he decided he wanted to do. That's pretty much the summary there. So Theodore Roosevelt was never a fan of idle vacations. There's a picture of him with his rhino that he took out, rather ranching on the Dakotas, cougar hunting in Arizona, year-long Yeah, maybe.
I'm sorry.
Uh,
I'm sorry.
you're
I
okay.
couldn't leave that alone. I apologize.
A year-long safari in Africa, his travels has always involved hardship and risk. So he was always about that real, true expedition journeyman. And that's probably why he wanted to save the national parks or create the national parks.
Mhm.
Two of the key components of what he once famously termed the strenuous life. Still, none of Roosevelt's previous adventures could compare to the one he attempted in 1913. Despite having little experience in the jungle, the burly 55-year-old journeyed to Brazil
Yeah.
and set out on trip to unchart this tributary of the Amazon, which they called the River of Doubt. And we'll get into it, but this river was really never touched by a foreigner, I guess is like you would
No, and
say.
I like this. This was a bold thing. This is like, you want to talk about, a midlife crisis. Dude loses the election. He's like, I'm going to go to the Amazon. He didn't buy a car. He didn't cheat on his
Mm-mm,
wife. He went to the
mm-mm.
Amazon to tame a river. In 55. And he's not a young man. That's actually, it's slightly older than I am now. But, this was and travel wasn't like quick back then.
Yeah, he
He can on
became
planes
yeah,
zip down there. It takes a minute.
he became president, I think, at 42, and I think he's still one of the youngest. Roosevelt decided to describe the Amazon adventure as his last chance to be a boy. And I guess that's true. But it was also something of a consolation prize to him.
Yeah.
He had hoped to be serving his third term, like we mentioned. And despite he did have a strong showing in 1912, but he started his own party, the Progressive Party at the time, and he lost to the Democrat Woodrow Wilson, which
Not a Wilson fan, not gonna lie.
a lot of
Not a
people
Wilson
aren't a
fan.
fan of him. So like, he lost that. So like you said, he was kind of bummed. He spent a few months moping around in his New York apartment or house. He received a letter from Argentina inviting him to conduct a series of lectures in South America. Not only did he accept that, he decided to supplement the speaking tour with an extended river cruise down two rivers of the Amazon before setting sail for the continent that October. He contacted the American Museum of Natural History and recruited a pair of naturalists and made plans to collect animal specimens during his expedition. So it just wasn't just for fun. He really wanted to document what was out there, and he was that type of explorer
Mhm.
that he wasn't just going to tramp through and not like record what was going on. He was very curious what was out there because, like you
Yeah,
said,
he wanted to bring stuff back. I mean, he was
mhm,
a man of exploration and of the age. Because we think of the early 1900s. The world was still very untamed. It still is in a lot of places, but
mhm,
he wanted to dive right into that stuff. That's who he was. He was
mhm.
just charged right in.
Yeah, it was very cool. It was very neat that he decided to do this. I don't know if I would have the balls to do it, but he did. So Roosevelt had envisioned the journey that was part holiday and just kind of a part scientific endeavor. But upon arriving in the South America, he decided to tackle something more stimulating. After consulting with his guide, the veteran Brazilian explorer Coronel, I think it's Cadio Rondo, he dropped his original itinerary and set his sights on traversing the River of Doubt. Now, this is the river that we mentioned earlier, where no white man really from English
No.
or anywhere around the world has even been through. Um, a wild and winding waterway that yet had to be charted by Europeans. The head of American Museum of Natural History tried to warn him of the risk, but he said, "If it's necessary to leave my bones in South America," he wrote, "I'm quite ready to do so." So he was willing to go and just
Yep.
not make it.
This was definitely, I mean, he was doing this kind of stuff before when he was a younger man, of course. But this was definitely a response to losing the election. This was a by God, I'm going to go do something. It's not that he
Mhm,
hadn't accomplished anything, but after that loss, a man of that stature doesn't take the loss well. Certainly doesn't take it lying down. So he
mhm.
he wanted to go. I mean, this was when they offered him this. I'm sure he just lit up like a light bulb because he now had a thing to
A
go
thing that
conquer.
they could ignore the other guy and focus on him. So, but that's exactly what he was trying to do here. So in late 1913, after Roosevelt and had completed his lecture tour, the Roosevelt Rondo expedition got underway. Along with small army of porters, explorers, and scientists, the team also included Roosevelt's 23-year-old son Kermit, and who had been living in Brazil. The adventurers began traveling via steamboat to the remote town. And I'm going to butcher this. I think it's Tarapano. From there, they embarked on 2-month overland trek towards the River of Doubt. So there he is,
Think
right
about
there.
that for a minute. Before he even starts on this river journey, he has to do a 2-month overland trek to get to the river. That's a lot. That's a lot. You know,
It is a lot.
That's a hacking, cutting your way through to get to this place. This is not an easy.
Yeah,
trek.
and this picture is him right before he left. There he is, standing there. So he wasn't like, I guess he kind of is kind of burly, but he wasn't like a fit man, right? He wasn't really. He was just kind of like he was plump. So it's interesting he was able to even get through that part of the river. So here's an interesting fact that I didn't know when I started reading this. He was still carrying the bullet in his chest from a failed assassination attempt that occurred in 1912. So while he was running for his third term, he got almost assassinated. Roosevelt immediately impressed his companions with his seemingly boundless stamina. On the whole, however, the expedition did not get off to a promising start. So it didn't start well. Several men were struck down by a tropical illness while crossing the rugged Brazilian highlands. This is the 2-month trek that you were referring to. Over half of the group's pack animals died from exhaustion.
That's a bad omen, by the way. That's not good.
By the time they finally reached the River of Doubt in February 1914, a lack of supplies had forced Roosevelt and Rondo to downsize their team. In the end, the 22-man party that set off on the river included just 3 Americans: Roosevelt, Kermit, and the naturalist George Cherry. So they had downsized a little bit. They were losing supplies already, and they haven't even touched the river.
No, and you have to wonder. I mean, because of the terrain, a large expedition. I mean, you want to have as much stuff as you can going into it, but it probably, as soon as it's probably better that it ended up as a smaller expedition, just a more manageable group, given what they were about to endure.
Yeah, and here's a picture.
I think more would have been better.
Yeah, would you have turned around before you got to the river at that point?
At this point, as soon as you lose like half your pack animals, and you're now like, it would defeat most men, I think, just from a morale standpoint. And this is not what you envisioned as far as your plan went now. So I probably would have been like, look, we're just going to take this as a sign this wasn't meant to be. Let's go have a margarita. Everybody, margaritas? All right, good.
I like that.
Kermit,
like
you in?
I like the margaritas. Love it ever after mentioned a good thing down there below. It's interesting how much they leave out of textbooks. I didn't really hear about this story until later in life. They really don't share this about Teddy Roosevelt and how he lost and how he decided to do this trek. So it's amazing what stories are out there.
Yeah.
And hopefully, as this channel progresses, I share more of these type of things. If the journey of the River of Doubt to the River of Doubt had been trying, conditions only grew more extreme once explorers were out on the water. As they floated down the river in dugout canoes, the men were at risk of attack by everything: alligators, piranhas, and hostile indigenous people. So again, they haven't even touched the river, but they know that they're going to get eaten probably by an alligator.
A lot of things that want to kill you on this trip already. And then the bugs.
Yeah, and the bugs.
And
here you go.
And then the bugs.
Yeah, when they stopped on the camp in the banks, they were overwhelmed by what Roosevelt called them torment and menace, and the mosquitoes and stinging flies. Have you ever watched that show, Naked and Afraid, where they don't think about that? They're like, oh yeah, I'm good, I can make fire on my own, but they don't think about the constant stinging and the biting of all these bugs, and that can really get to a very strong mentally stable.
Nuts.
Yeah, And a lot of people who think they're pretty stable of doing something like naked and afraid, they bow out because of the bugs. I'm not sure if you dealt with a lot of bugs in the Navy, but it's just crazy to think that those little pesky flies every day
No,
just
they
poking you.
because they're keeping at you. I mean, we don't even sit out on the patio some nights because the mosquitoes are just eating everybody. So yeah, I can't. And they didn't have anywhere to go. They're just trapped in it all
Okay.
day, all night. Bugs, 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 bugs. It's probably better over the open water, but you can't stay on the open water.
Yeah, he was actually bitten by a venomous coral snake, but it bit his leather boot instead, so it wasn't able to sink its teeth in him. Okay, R2's getting kind of fact checking here in with his lizard facts. He's saying they're not gators, they're caimans. Well, I pulled this from an article. You tell them that. So
I don't know. It doesn't, quite honestly,
gator,
from a just a puppy small dog.
yeah,
It's a big reptile that can eat you, of the same kind
tomatoes,
of reptile family.
tomatoes.
R2. Not a finger.
With each bend in the river, the expedition entered new unmapped territory. It was interesting work for no civilized man. No white man had ever gone down or up this river or seen the country through which we were passing. I think that would be in its own little thing that would be really cool, that you're kind of like the first, like, Englishmen or person to walk through here. Maybe even like I know there were native tribes that lived down there, but you're like knowing that you're like from the outside world, you're the first one to kind of see this. I think that would just be fun. Just be
Something
fantastic.
no one had ever seen. Or and you're able to see it in a way that you're bringing it back to share with others. It's
Mhm.
not going to be a lost tale, or something
Almost a lost tale, but yeah.
almost a lost tale, almost a lost tale.
The lofty matted forest rose like a green wall on either hand. The journey began to calm waters, but by early March, the explorers had encountered their first, what would eventually be dozens of miles of treacherous rapids. Have you ever gone rapid down the?
I've never been in rapids.
Yeah, it could be pretty
and
wild.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Like my bones where they are.
Yeah, the men were forced to either shoot the water, the white water, or carry their canoes on their backs to the wilderness. That added about that slowed them down a little bit, so that brought them down to 7 miles per day.
Gosh, that
And
again, demoralizing.
yeah, and they
7 miles a day.
and they also had to stop all the time to repair the canoes because of their being destroyed by the rapids. On March 15th, Kermit, that's his son, canoe was stuck in a whirlpool and sent tumbling over a waterfall. He and a companion managed to swim to shore, but a third man, a Brazilian named Sinko, drowned in the rushing waters.
He didn't make him.
Mm-mm. How scary would that be?
That would suck because it's coming. There's nothing you can do about it. Kermit's on the beach is just woo, miss that one, sippy gold. Too bad, buddy.
Do you think he pushed him? Go that way.
Either me or you.
And I'm the son of the president. The expedition's troubles only mounted over the next several weeks. The explorers knew that the band of Indians were stalking them, so they're being stalked.
I'm
Rondo,
seeing, like the guys in Indiana Jones at this point is in my head. I'm envisioning that. Very close.
Rondo had found his dog shot through with arrows. Poor puppy. And they were constantly on edge about an ambush. The natives ultimately let the men pass through unharmed, but the team was still plagued by malaria, diphtheria, and lack of supplies. So they're starting to get really sick. Even Roosevelt began to suffer after he fell ill with fever and then sliced his leg upon a rock. Morale was reached
infection. That's all you're getting down there.
Yeah. Lowest point was in April. This was their morale. When a porter named Julio shot and killed another Brazilian who had caught him stealing food after failing to capture the murderer. The exhausted expedition simply abandoned him in the jungle. Like, oh, you're a murderer, just go that way. He's lost forever.
Julio is probably getting eaten by something. I mean, it's just he's
Okay.
out there. He's got whatever he stole, but he's in the middle of the jungle. There's not like somewhere to go. He can't hide out at his girlfriend's basement.
Can you imagine any of our current politicians doing this?
No, not a one. They're all like 30 years older than Teddy Roosevelt.
Do you think the big guy is going to do this in a few years?
No.
No.
He may think he's on the Rapids, but you know.
The 19 remaining explorers continued downriver. Good for them. But their scientific expedition had turned into a fight for survival. Their clothes were reduced to rags. They headed off of starvation only by catching fish. And I guess there's a thing called a heart of a palm. So it must be like something they could eat off a palm tree. Roosevelt,
I've heard of, but I've never had, so I don't know what it is.
Roosevelt, once among the team's strongest members, became delirious from fever and infection. He repeatedly demanded to be left alone in the jungle to die. But Kermit refused to leave him behind. It's a good son, right? There were good many days, good many mornings when I looked at Colonel Roosevelt and said to myself, he won't be with us tonight. Naturalist George Cherry later remembered, and I would say the same in the evening, he can't possibly live until the morning. So he's getting pretty sick. You can see in this picture here, this is around the end of it. He lost a lot of weight.
Yes.
He lost about a quarter.
Not round in the middle anymore. He looks pretty straight.
Yeah, he lost a quarter of his body weight. That's a lot in that amount of time. But he stubbornly held on and even endured emergency leg surgery on the riverbank.
I can't even imagine what that means. They're very vague with that point. I have no idea what that means. I have things in my mind, and none of them are good. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, he sliced his leg, so maybe got some stitches. As a former president languished his canoe, Rando and the explorers into the waters closer to civilization with the aid of local Surdrinos, Brazilian pioneers who lived in the jungle, had harvested rubber. The men acquired new canoes and traversed the last few sections of the rapids. So they're almost to the end there. Cool fact about this, we're going to mention it here later, but they did name the river after him. It's now called the Rio Roosevelt or something, or River
Yes.
Roosevelt. Finally, on April 26th, so remember they started like around February. The team slighted a relief party that Random had previously ordered to meet them at the confluence of the River of Doubt, and I guess it's Arpapuna. I think that's how you say that river. After 2 months and hundreds of miles, they had reached the finish line. So good for them. Though still sick, Roosevelt became beamed with pride, and he was typically fashioned that he dashed off a telegram to the Brazilian government in which he called the nightmarish expedition a hard, somewhat dangerous, but very successful trip. So he even had time to tell everybody he was finished.
Oh, what are you going to do?
You know, there's people in America
lost that guy a while back, but that's fine. It's a good trip. It's a good trip.
Yeah, you know, there's people in America probably right now thinking, what happened to him? And then they finally find out. Roosevelt received the medical attention once the group reached civilization. By the time he returned to New York in May of 1914, he had grown strong enough to walk down his ship's gangplank and greet a crowd of admirers. A few critics dispute his claim that he even did it. Put upon the map a river nearly 1,500 kilometers in length. I don't remember what that is in miles, but that's quite a bit of miles. But later won over the most of the skeptics during a lecture tour in 1926. In 1926, meanwhile, another group did the same thing, and they confirmed everything that Roosevelt kind of found. And then by the end of that expedition, they named it the Roosevelt River. So he had the river named after him. That's pretty cool. There's a picture of him before he set off but there's a
Yes.
waterfall in the back there. But what an amazing trip, right?
It is. I mean, you want to talk about not giving up. Although I will say once they were in the throes of it, I don't think going back was even an option. You're going forward or you're going to die in this jungle.
True.
Like probably as soon as they're on the river, going back is no longer an option.
I agree with that. Yeah. Well, Roosevelt would remember this time in the Amazon as one of his greatest adventures. It was also his last. His stint in the jungle had taken its toll, and for the rest of his days, he was plagued by a collection of ailments he called his old Brazilian trouble. The bull moose stayed active and even attempted volunteering for World War I, but he finally died in his sleep in 1919 at age 60. So yeah, even though he had those old Brazilian trouble, he still wanted to fight for his country. As a
can't keep
president.
the man down.
Now, this is a great quote.
Yes.
Death had to take him in his sleep, Vice President Thomas Marshall said at the time. For if Roosevelt had been awake, there would have been a fight. So it was like death knew if I don't get you while you're sleeping, you're gonna like not.
Yep. He was one of those bigger than life characters.
And you can see that in those pictures, right? Here's one picture where he's very stern and he's like, I'm the president, right? I'm here to lead this country. And then you have on the right there where he's looks like he's having a good time. So he was able to do both. And I think that's probably what made him a good leader. So, but there you go. That's the story of Roosevelt and the River of Doubt. So you said you were about close to his age now. Do you think you could do that trip?
I am. I don't like bugs. I don't like water. I don't want to get eaten by a reptile. I don't speak Spanish. I'm probably going to die. Let's call it like 2, maybe 4 days into the land trek. I'm dead. Julio is gutting me and making sausages. I'm dead. I'm a dead man. I also don't prefer tropical environments.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer more dry. We're down in San Diego here. It's essentially developed desert. And I like the terrain here just fine. I go on my hikes. And even like I did Whitney a few years back, and it's not jungle. It's a little foresty, but I'm a big hiker. I enjoy that. But this is a whole different kind of critter.
Yeah, I'm good with a normal hike in the woods. I don't know if I would do this, but congratulations to him for even accomplishing it. Back then, right? Not a lot of GPS, no nothing, just straightforward. So there you go. That's that.
It's amazing they survived it. It's also given that their plan changed so radically. I don't know what their party started with. We know, they lost half their animals just on the trip over.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're down to 22 guys. Figure that was at least a third larger than it was.
I would assume they had a good party of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So here we go. Joker voice comes in. I'm here for the breadsticks.
Yes.
I got a surprise for you, Joker, if you stick around for like 5 minutes. We're gonna wrap. But yeah, it's a fascinating story. If you want to know more about it, the link will be in the video that goes out in that description. If you want, you can also watch that. You'll be able to watch that video on Rumble. So I'll have that there as well. All right. So we have a few minutes here. I know we're going to try to end it here on the hour. I said now Joker came in late, so he didn't get to see what Olive Garden did for you. And I want us to make sure everyone sees this.
It's important. It's important
before we end the night. And Olive Garden, hats off to them for creating this in such a fast and quick manner.
I want to get that one of me and the dog turned into a painting. That's
I'll send you all the pictures. It's fine.
Oh,
Joke, there you
this
go.
is-
You
this
get to
is
see that.
God. The Colonel Sanders still gets me every time.
I'll send it to you later, and that way you can have it
Oh.
for your own show and share it with whoever you
Oh
want.
my
But
God, yeah, they will. That's a hoot, dude. That's fantastic.
alrighty. I do have to ask you one question before we go. Do you believe in Bigfoot?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So you like pineapple on pizza and you believe in Bigfoot. That's awesome.
Yeah, I like to party.
Is it because you've seen Bigfoot or you just think there's something out there?
No, it's one of those things. When you look at local legends, it's based on a something. I
Yeah.
don't know what the something is, but something and spread across different regions, all having a similar something.
Right.
That's it. That's what brings it together for me. It's not just a one-off kind of like the chupacabra.
Mhm.
The chupacabra. It is what it is. But the Bigfoot is amongst lots of different land masses and cultures. And they call it different things, but it's all the same thing. That's why that one, for me, has its foot bump in the real world somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good explanation. I agree. I kind of do believe in it. I have not seen it. I've heard stories of people who have, and I've heard people that brush it off and say no, so that's fine. But there you go. All right. Do you have anything coming up this weekend or the next week? I think you have a show Thursday,
So,
right?
Yep, every Thursday at 5 Pacific Standard. Tomorrow we're just doing a free range stream where we're talking a lot. I'm always amazed by the free range stream. I'm always thinking I'm gonna go into the weekend, there's gonna be like nothing there. And then just all these things pop up that we're gonna be talking about. So it's always really fun. That new trailer came out. I don't know if you saw it for the what is it, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly
Yeah, it looks
Warfare.
cool.
Oh my God, that looks so good. I became mildly aroused.
Those guys would hang out with Roosevelt.
They would. Those guys would hang out with Roosevelt. Roosevelt knew how to have a good time. Those guys are having a good time. They're blowing stuff up. So we're going to talk about that. We're talking about a lot of things tomorrow night. But that's one of them.
Okay, very cool.
And next week we are doing. We're doing a show on Dune, the 1984 version. So looking forward to that.
I haven't seen that in a long time. I did like the remake. So
I did. I like the new one better for a lot of reasons. Not the least of which is it's not as compressed. You're getting the two movies as opposed to trying to squeeze it. I mean, two movies is still pretty compressed, but one movie was way compressed. But it was still, I think they did a good job with what they were working with.
yeah, I think they're going to make quite a few. So, right? Are they going to do 3?
We'll see. I'm going to count on the second one. I won't count on anything past that until we see how this does.
Okay.
I mean, the movie market is such a minefield now. You don't know
It is.
what's going to win, what's not.
You're right. Well, I will look forward to seeing you again on your live streams and in your chat. And again, I had a fantastic time with you. I'm glad we were able to do this.
Thank you.
So many
too.
months,
Me too. No one died.
so many months of planning.
Yes.
And you're more than welcome to come back on the show.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to.
And sometimes we do some group panel stuff, so I would happily invite you
Hit
to
me up.
those as well. All right, everyone. Look forward to next Wednesday night. I will tell you the guests next week. And then you'll see me on After the Weekend. Me and Beard are over there. Beard of Liberty are reviewing. We're starting February our rom-com reviews. So we're doing some special rom-com reviews. 2 dudes. Our 2's on a break, so he won't be with us, but it'll be me and Beard reviewing Groundhog's Day. So
I love that movie. It's a great movie.
It is. It's a great movie. All right, everyone. You have a good night, a good safe rest of the week, and I'll see you next time on Late Night with Cap. Roman, later.